Okay, I'm back. Attempted to try to share about this and realized that I was right over the um, diffuser where the essential oils were going, the mist was going right into my eyes and making my eyes sting. What are the odds of that, right? Oh my gosh. So, anyway, I want to talk about something because it's happening in my life right now. I've been asked to move to Austin, Texas from Maui, and that's a huge deal. And for those of you who haven't done something like that before, when you move to or from Hawaii, you pretty much let go of most of your stuff because it's so expensive to ship it. And this time I'm not going back and forth from California. I'm going all the way to mid-America in Austin, which doesn't have a port like before, like because I always lived on the ocean in California. And so, it's this whole purging process, this whole letting go of, I guess, the past and the memories of the past. I am going to be transparent about my journey because I am a bit of a Lakshmi. I have a lot of beautiful things, and thank God I get off on letting go a lot of times as much as I do in collecting these things. And I love blessing my friends and my community with my beautiful things because it also helps me let go of them a little easier, knowing they're going to a good person and a good home. And it's kind of fun to be able to bless people with things that I paid so much more for, but I'm letting it go for, pennies on the dollar. Well, I guess moving from Maui to Austin, there's a lot to consider because I'm going to be moving on the plane with luggage. I'm having to narrow it down to just what I'm fitting in my luggage, and then letting go as much as I can, and I am on a certain time frame and all that. It's really an amazing initiation. And I think one of the big things that came up for me is, I was actually preparing for a life with someone in a large home, and it fell through before COVID. And so I had a lot more than I normally would, and I was preparing for this whole grand life that's coming, but it's just been delayed. And having spent good earned money on these things, it's not as easy to let go of them, and yet a lot of it was sitting around not being used because there's only so many things you can use in a day. And as a woman, I do have a lot of goddess beautiful items, like one-of-a-kinds that are not easy to find. And I have I'm a fashionista, I'm a costumista, I'm got accessories going out the yin yang, I have beauty products, cosmetics, the latest and greatest, all of that. And but you only can wear so much per day. Whether it's a beauty product that comes out of a jar or a piece of clothing, there's only so much of it you can wear and use in a day. And I swear, this is hilarious. I can literally outfit the whole community single-handedly. And I guess that's my my Lotus Totem, double mother card in my astrology deck kind of archetype that I am. And so I don't judge it. It's actually going to be useful at some point in time when I, really get into that mode. But I also am laughing about it because, I just have so much abundance. I love to shop, and I have a radar for it. I literally get a sonar when it's like really good to go into Ross or some other store. I have this, of course I'm highly psychic anyway and intuitive, but it's funny. So anyway, it's making me look at this because, there's something to be said for the beauty of simplicity and, the beauty of Zen And there's also a beauty in abundance too. And so I don't judge any of it. It's just like, what do I want to do next? You know, how do I want to do this differently? Because I don't really, I feel like I kind of got in a trap where I just had all this stuff preparing for this life that was going to be in a larger home. And it, you know, serving the community out of my estate or whatever, and it just got all delayed. So in the meantime, you know, I'm trying to hold it together, I guess, and wait, but it's taking up space in a much smaller housing situation. And you know, there's only so many lip glosses you need. And I was just kind of like considering, gosh, you know, here I have a whole drawer of lip glosses. I could literally give everybody in my community a lip gloss of their own as an example. And it just made me think of, gosh, you know, Ross makes everything so cheap that, you know, you feel rich when you go into Ross. And that's one of the beauties of it, is that you can afford a lot in there. You can come away with a lot for not that much money compared to other stores, and especially on the island where they jack everything up usually too. So I love giving gifts. I'm known for that. And so, you know, I always have gifts available in my home. I'm almost like a store, because anything I need, I usually have it somewhere. It's just a matter of finding it. And, you know, I don't like having to run out to the store constantly to get stuff that I need. So I like being prepared. But it is a little bit of a commentary on materialism as well. And there's different ways to look at things, and there's philosophical ways to look at things. And I think it's, you know, fine to take in that much stuff, especially if you're letting go of as much stuff, so that there's a constant revolving around there. But I think if there's just a lot of accumulation happening, and, you know, there's all these nooks and crannies of things that I had forgotten about, that I'd forgotten I even had, that I wasn't using, and I might as well have someone else, you know, really cherish it and be able to use it regularly. And yeah, it's been an interesting, you know, then you go through this interesting thing of, okay, what am I going to sell? What am I going to put in the smallest storage unit I can find for when I come back? And what am I going to take with me? You know, it's a big lesson in revamping and letting, like I said, letting go of the past. I noticed certain clothes items remind me of certain segments of my past that I'm just done with. I feel complete. I don't need to wear those anymore. That was for then, and I want to move on to something else. And yeah, I'm finding it all very fascinating. And anyway, my heart goes out to you if you're going through a similar thing. Maybe you already did move. I know so many people who have moved. It's almost like it's a requirement during this COVID initiation. It's interesting to me. And, you know, moving does kind of give us a fresh start, right? Doesn't it? Because it does give you the opportunity to go through all your stuff, figure out, what do I really need here? What do I need, you know, what's it time to let go of? I don't need to tote this around with me anymore. And, you know, sometimes you just want to start fresh and new in your new place, and just have your things represent a new stage of life instead of bringing in all the old again. It's really something. And then what's beautiful is that my old things become someone else's new things. And yeah, I just thought I would discuss it a little bit, because I am finding it quite interesting. It is a huge, probably one of my bigger initiations. I have gone back and forth from Maui and California several times, and I even went to Portland once and came back. And, you know, I've been through this before, but this time, because I was preparing for a much bigger life with an estate and a partner and serving the community and all that, I did accumulate quite a bit more for that particular life that I was manifesting. And even though it will be arriving soon, I am feeling led to purge a lot of things from the past, to start afresh with new new items that represent this phase of life, and keeping, of course, certain things that are precious to me, but it's all I can say is it's a good thing I can let go of as much as I do, because I know that I'm one of those people. I just have the ability to recreate it all over again, no problem. It's a gift I have, and so it makes it a little bit easier to do the letting go part. So I know I haven't been on the channel as much lately because I am so busy getting ready for this move, because I will be moving to Austin. It's 2022, and I'm going there at the end of July to the end of August sometime. And so I've got a lot to do to wipe out all this stuff from here and get everything ready to go for the new stage there. And since I didn't really know anybody personally there, and gonna be getting, like, literally selling my vehicle here, getting a new one there, and yeah, it feels like just a much bigger situation. I did do this once before, I guess I can say that. I got led to go to Tennessee to get my master's degree in education, and I didn't know anybody there either, and it was scary. You have to have some kahunas for this, but I did do that, and it was fine. I'm always led, and it's always the right thing when Spirit says to do something like this, and it's how I've been led everywhere in my life. Honestly, it's it's not something everybody is used to, but I am, because my folks did it. Actually, we moved to Monterey, California from Colorado when I was starting 3rd grade, and it was one of the best decisions we ever made. And so I did have that role modeled for me, actually, and it's the way I've lived my life. And what's kind of cool is it's an interesting story too, because I'm going there sight unseen, just like I went, came here to Maui sight unseen and went to Tennessee sight unseen, and not knowing anybody in these places when I came. And so it is kind of a great role model, I think, for people to be willing to do that, when they do feel called somewhere. You can certainly ask for confirmation. I've gotten a lot of confirmation since that initial drop-in that it happened. And so, yeah, there's a lot of goodness waiting for me there. And, it's put a ripple through my community too, because there are a lot of my friends since that happened have lost their jobs and are wondering what the next step is, whether to stay on the island or not. And one actually is going to go check out Austin, who's in the same field as me, and is feeling like, yeah, it does feel like there's a lot more it's going to be able to offer for those of us who are ready to evolve to the next step in what we're supposed to do, and where we're supposed to be. So anyway, interesting story. I hope that was inspiring. And that means I'm going to be on the mainland, like in the central of America again. I have lived in Dallas-Fort Worth for a couple years when I was like 21, and now I'm going to Austin. And I also, have been in mid-America by being in Tennessee for my master's, so it's not completely foreign to me. Certainly different from the 18 years that I've been in Hawaii, and took some trips to brief times in San Diego and California, Portland, like I mentioned, but mostly been here as my home base. So very exciting, and please put good energy on my transition, and I will be a little bit more central, I guess, and local for those who don't want to come all the way to Hawaii, because it is a bit of a trip, and I did have a client fly me out to the mainland for that purpose, because it's a bit much to come all the way out here every time. So anyway, very exciting. I sense that I'm going to be stepping up into more of a leadership position in the field of Tantra, relationships, and love, and that's going to mean take the form of perhaps training and speaking and, putting out a series of books and however Spirit is guiding me. But I know that's coming too, and it's like, it's never ending. But, that's what I'm here for, as a starseed. I've been brought here to make a contribution in the field of relationships and sexuality, and that's, by darn it, what I'm going to be doing more and more all the time. So thank you for listening, and bless you, especially if you're about to make